you very much, Paula.
Thanks.
Sarah, Hagley Ferrymead Community Board. No parties, but obviously an interesting meeting.
Good morning.
Oh, meetings. We've got 2 meetings.
2 meetings in here.
Yeah, do you just want to traverse them both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are no parties between those two meetings, but you've made some Richmond mums and bubs very happy with your long-term plan decision with the funding for fixing or rebuilding the Avery Park pool, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for that. They are very happy. We have, on the next page, we have held a meeting now in Bromley to gauge the extent of the odour issues in the area with the wider community. It was a really constructive meeting, and we're currently going through the information that we gained from that at the time, and we'll have some more information from the community board to council on that at some stage really soon, and back out to the community as well. Ongoing issues. That's probably it for the key things there.
Anything on the other meeting? How's the Phillipstown Community Hub going?
It's absolutely amazing. There's been a lot of people put a huge amount of work in, and their open day was fantastic. There are a lot of amazing community groups working out of there collaboratively. Really hope it can last a lot longer than the 1-year official lease that they've got. The initial lease is for a year from the ministry for using the site, and then it's month by month after that. But it's making a really big difference in the area, especially with the loss of the school. They've now got somewhere in some site where people can still connect in lots of different ways. So.
What's actually down there now? What's at the
a range of things. So there's heaps. There's the Creative Arts, the Oscar program, the Mount Pleasant Pottery Group are there. The Phillipstown Community Centre's still there. There's
the Youth Development Program.
Huge range. Yeah. And they've got students from CPIT who've been helping them with some branding stuff, which looks fantastic. And the community garden.
Well, hang on. We've just got. You want to finish the report and then we'll go back through this.
That's right.
Tannery Jetty proposal.
It was a really interesting one where there's still a lot of work to be done there. It will be an amazing enhancement to that area of the river, especially as we look at with the other groups that are looking at linking up along the river to enhance it. And but there's still work to be done on how that would happen and the funding of it. It's the board is supportive of the project, but it is in the river and so needs various consents and there's stuff to do with funding that needs sorting out. So the council resolved some time ago to have that section of the river, sort of along Cumnor Terrace and things, to get a plan done for that area, landscape and other things. And I'm not sure any work started on that yet.
You know, I just often wonder why we aren't utilising one of the best landscape architectural schools in the country, or probably in Australasia, Lincoln University, as part of a. This could be a part of their study, to actually do this. Yeah. I just think that we need to capture the resources that are in our community now. Yeah.
Well, the design for the actual jetty and bridge and things are Earthfield designs. Yeah. And but that whole we need to get that whole stretch done through the industrial area. So it would be really good to get that started.
Might just have a talk to some of my contacts out there. Yanni and then Tim.
Because we do have a resolution that council will prepare an overall landscape plan for this area. The problem was we didn't have any funding on budget. As part of the decision of the LGP, we've now got money on budget that will help this. We've got enhancements or earthquake repairs happening further up around where the Wolfston Cut is and connected to the river. And we've also got the $1 million that we talked about river to do enhancement projects. I think it would be really great to use those. And I think now everything's set to go. So I just wanted to give a wee update because I did meet with staff and work through what we could do there. And I think Vicky Buck's also on one of the plaques, I think, with some school kids from Thorrington School many years ago. So there's a great history of involving young people.
There's a Vicky Buck plaque there.
Let's continue that.
There's more things for your buck.
So I just wanted to draw, just to make the comment on Phillipstown, one of the, it's not a tension, but one of the things, objectives, is that hub is really wanting groups that actually are involved and engaged in the Phillipstown community. And one of the risks they identified was that you could have a lot of groups coming in that actually have no connection, but just using that space. So what you see is a really fantastic, I think, partnership with a whole bunch of collaborative engagements and doing things to help and work with local people, and it's fantastic. One point I just wanted to draw your attention to, which is of concern, is, and I don't know whether Sarah wishes to comment, the community board was looking at funding through its discretionary response fund, the management of waste from one of our sites where a building was knocked down, the old Sumner Community Centre, and the council staff and operationally spent more money than it would have cost for the board to discretionary response fund that. So it all stems from the fact that they wanted to use waste bins from the red zone that were no longer being used, wheelie bins, for the community to clean up that area on a regular basis, and they were told that they couldn't do that, and the bins were seized, and we're now having, as a board, to pay for what should be effectively a council operational budget through our discretionary response fund, and we've lost the goodwill in the community, and that has been a pretty sad story, really, of how not to do things, and the costs that we spend trying to get resolution and investigating and actually far outweigh the cost of actually just enabling those bins to be continued. So I don't know whether Sarah wishes to comment on that, but it was a point that was raised at the board.
They had some bins from the red zone that hadn't been obviously being used by the community, and they'd used those on the Village Green site, which is the site of the new community centre and library that will be built shortly. And the rubbish from the market, the local rubbish had been going in those. Council had been picking them up because they've been the bins at the side of the road. And but all of a sudden it was discovered that they weren't supposed to be there. But because the land is not rated currently, council cannot. There's something in the paperwork says that the council can't pick up rubbish from it because it's not, even though it's a council site, it's not rated. Therefore, they can't pick up rubbish. So it's actually more expensive for the council now because it's coming out of council funds, our discretionary response, to pay a private contractor to come and pick up waste from that site, which is a council-owned site. It's just a lot of toing and froing and not a lot of good communication at the time.
I might refer that one to the Chief Executive. It sounds like one that could be looked at.
I mean, we did have a request here to, for council just to fund that out of operational costs and actually just get the bins there and picked up because it's cheaper than spending the discretionary response money. Yeah. Okay. Vicky?
Follow up on the Heathcote, the tannery proposal. Because that tannery has been just such an amazing development in that area, and it creates an incredible sort of catalyst for the clean-up of the Heathcote as well.
Yeah.
And I just don't want the amazing work that Alistair and Zach Castles have done to actually be lost. So given that we now have that money in the long-term plan, I'm wondering if we could just, and I don't mind if we use Lincoln or anybody, I think it's a fantastic proposal. I'm just wondering if we could actually get some staff onto that now, Jane. I just waited till you were doing something else to ask. So this is the tannery and all of the things that, because there's a jetty, there's a bus stop, there's all sorts of things that he's got. And then there's the clean-up that a lot of the community groups there are doing. We have now got some money on the long-term plan to do it. Could we just sort of bring this forward so that it doesn't, so that it actually starts, gets underway?
Is it on budget for this year?
So what we did is we've got a quantum side, but we haven't specified what project because we didn't know what projects will come out of those engagements. But some of that money, when I went to start, they needed about 20,000 to do a landscape plan and plan. So I think getting a report back on maybe how that should progress.
Well, and just how we can actually help with that tannery, that whole historic precinct development that they want to do, because it's just
Yeah, but I also I kind of want, I mean, the idea that staff will go on and do a landscape plan. No, I just think that we want to get community engagement.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tim, then Andrew.
Prior to the earthquake, there was the Mid-Heathcote Master Plan, which took probably about 10 years to get together, and there was huge community input into that and total buy-in, and so perhaps that could be used as the template to save time and to kind of circumnavigate a number of things, because it would be great for the lower Heathcote to have a master plan, not just one area of it, and to link into the Mid-Heathcote, because it is one river flowing through the whole lot. The other thing is maybe approach your community now, because if you're looking for funds with regards, or they're going to be looking for funds for, say, the Tannery jetty, etc., we've seen on Banks Peninsula where the communities are getting together to try and get the best bang for buck, if you like, with regards to, thank you, it's worth $1, so they put in and try and get more back. They're putting money into and ownership of that jetty, if you understand what I'm saying. But whether the planning's from Lincoln or whatever.
There's ways, yeah.
I do have to say that it's not just the lower, the upper, or the mid Heathcote. It's one river, and we've got a master plan for the middle bit. It'd be great to have a master plan to link in with the other bits as well, and to be done as one, because it has been put on hold. There have been changes in the LIDAR test, etc., with regards to the whole environment. So those communities have not forgotten that we have a master plan.
Yeah, it's a major project, but I mean, one of the values, I guess, of our city is this, pristine water. We can turn on a tap and drink the best water in the world, and that's an extraordinary place to be, and it says something extraordinary about us. But not having clean rivers doesn't go with our, it doesn't fit with us. So, but we're going to need more than an approach at the river to solve the problem. So where people wash their cars, not on the side of the road going into our drains, but actually on the berm so that they go into the ground. That's the sort of change in culture and behaviour that we're going to need to see as a city. We're going to have to stop wasting water. We've got so much that we need to do as a city, and actually we could make this a real campaign amongst our city to be what we say we are. And I'll go back to the fact that if you've travelled overseas, the value of turning on that tap and getting the best water in the world. There's just nothing that compares with our water. Paul?
I think you may get them too confused. The Tannery project is a particular project, and they really want to do this particular project. They actually do look after the area of water, and I think that if we allow this project to go ahead in whatever form it takes, I think you might find that actually you extrapolate out along the river, allowing people to actually take care of their section. And I think you're quite right, there are other issues that we face as a city that we need to deal with. So I totally agree with that, but this is a project, and I think the Tannery as a project, much like I suppose Restart in some respects, there is risk of in the future them not surviving the way we'd like them to, and I think by allowing them to add to what they're doing now will actually help keep them together and moving forward in a way that is commercially successful, but also successful for the community itself.
Yep. All right, Andrew.
Referring to paragraph 11 in the second report, the 17th of June one, proposed management and parking changes Ferry Road and Waterman Place.
Yes.
I note that the board considered this report retrospectively, so the work has already started. Now, I'm very aware of the parking issues in that area, and I note that there was correspondence and deputations from business owners, and I mean community members that use those businesses would have an interest in this as well. Given that the work is already underway and has been for some time...
The work is complete.
Oh, right, so the work is now complete.
It's been complete for months. Yep.
So you left the matter lying on the table. I'm just interested in how this report came to the board after the work was already underway or possibly complete, and how, you know, you're proposing to make some changes to the parking plan by leaving the report lying on the table, but the work's already done. How did that come to be, and how is it going to work from here on? Because, I mean, having
we've
people
had a
coming
meeting since then, so we've had the decision made since then.
So having people coming to make deputations about something that's already happening, I mean, it's not an ideal situation. I'm just interested in some commentary.
The consultation had started before the work, the lines went on the road, but the consultation wasn't complete by the time that SCIRT had finished their work. Council staff had worked through, or SCIRT, I think, had drawn up some plans of the white lines and the parking and the cycle lanes. Council staff looked at that. They made some significant changes to make it better. Those were the ones that were put on the table. We were told at the time that something would come through retrospectively, but we hadn't seen the changes that were going to be made at that point. What's happened since then is that we asked to see if we could have some more parking. We were told at the time that the parks that were currently there were not fully used. Most of the businesses in that area are not retail, so they're sort of wholesale type businesses, although there is one being rebuilt there at the moment. What came back to the board was information that actually that meeting. I missed it because of chest infection.
I'm actually working with the most affected property owner, which is the property owner furthest away from where the parking finishes. There is an opportunity to, I mean, he's got some more on-site street parking, so I'm working with staff to actually sort of progress that, so he's not so affected, because you're quite right, it's a toss-up between safety being a main trunk line to actually parking. And obviously, because there's an intersection and because of the development on the eastern side, there's more traffic turning in and out of Waterman Place. So it is safety, but the other part is we've got to be very cognizant of the businesses on the other side. And that particular property owner is struggling to get tenants for the building because they identify the parking on the street now being removed as a real barrier. So we just need to work through. But it really was not much of a choice. Safety and ensuring the traffic keeps moving was really that needed to be progressed.
Yeah, Yanni?
So this goes back to, and the board's formally made this request, that SCIRT design should go to community boards for approvals. So if board had delegated authority to look at the proposals through the SCIRT process, it saves a lot of energy and time. And given the lightweight agendas that the boards are getting, there's ample capacity for them to actually do that work in a time-efficient manner. So, you know, I think there's two lessons from this. One is that there's no delegation to boards to have any oversight of the SCIRT.
We will take that on board for the delegations workshop.
Yeah, and also the master plans, the strategic with master plans through areas and outline development plans. Because Ferrymead had an outline development plan, but a bit like Noble, things get changed or amended, and you end up with really bad traffic outcomes.
Yeah. Cool. We will make a note of that to go to the delegations workshop, because it's another one of... We're picking up examples of things that ought to be dealt with by community boards, so I agree. All right, so Paul, you'd like to move that. Yanni would like to second it. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much.